Every year, millions of people start businesses. And every year, the majority of those businesses fail. Not because the founders were not smart enough, not because the idea was not good enough, and not because the market was not there. They fail because the people running them never learned the 6 things that separate entrepreneurs who build something lasting from the ones who burn out, run out of money, or simply give up somewhere in the gap between starting and succeeding. The difference between a failed entrepreneur and a successful one is almost never talent. It is almost never timing. It is 6 specific habits of thinking and operating that successful founders share across industries, across markets, and across every era of business history. And none of them are taught in business school. My name is Tomas, and this channel is about finance, automation, and building income that lasts. If you are new here, welcome. Hit that like button right now and subscribe so you never miss a video. Today, we are going through 6 tips that actually move the needle on entrepreneurial success, the ones worth applying starting today, not someday. Let's get into it. Let us go straight into the 6 tips, because each one is specific, actionable, and worth far more than a generic piece of business motivation. The first tip is to solve a real problem for a specific person before building anything else. The single most common reason early-stage businesses fail is that the founder built something they were excited about, rather than something a clearly defined customer desperately needed. Excitement about a product is not market validation. The willingness of a specific, identifiable type of person to pay money to have a specific problem solved is market validation. And the businesses that survive the first 2 years are almost always the ones built backward, starting from the customer's pain, then designing the solution, rather than starting from the solution and hoping to find the pain later. Before spending money, before building a product, before designing a logo or launching a website, identify one type of customer and one specific problem they have that they are already spending time, energy, or money trying to solve. Then find 10 of those people and have a real conversation with them about what the problem costs them and what they have already tried. That research, done before a single dollar is spent on building, is worth more than any business plan ever written. The second tip is to generate revenue as fast as humanly possible, even before the product is finished. Cash flow is the oxygen of a business. A business with a brilliant product and no revenue dies. A business with an imperfect product and paying customers survives and improves. The fastest entrepreneurs understand that the goal of the first phase of any business is not to perfect the offering. It is to find someone willing to pay for it in its earliest, most imperfect form. Pre-selling, accepting payment for a product or service before it is fully built, is one of the most powerful tools available to an early entrepreneur. It validates the market, generates the capital to build, and creates the accountability of a committed customer who is waiting for the result. If a product cannot be pre-sold in any form, it is a strong signal that the market is not as ready as the founder believed. If it can, the business has its first proof of concept and its first customer before incurring significant costs. The third tip is to treat cash flow management as the most important skill in the business. More businesses fail from cash flow problems than from bad products, bad marketing, or bad strategy combined. Cash flow is not the same as profitability. A business can be profitable on paper and still run out of cash through late customer payments, large upfront costs, or rapid growth that outpaces the available working capital. Understanding the difference between cash in the bank today and money owed to the business next month is not an accounting detail. It is a survival skill. Successful entrepreneurs know their numbers obsessively. They know exactly what is coming in, what is going out, and when. They invoice immediately. They collect aggressively. They manage their payment terms with suppliers and customers to maximize the time money spends in their account rather than someone else's. And they build a cash reserve. a minimum of 2 to 3 months of operating expenses. That gives the business the runway to survive a slow month, a lost client, or an unexpected expense without entering crisis mode. The fourth tip is to build systems before hiring people. The instinct of most growing entrepreneurs when the workload becomes overwhelming is to hire. And hiring can absolutely be the right move, but only after the work being hired for has been documented, systematized, and tested well enough that a new person can perform it consistently without the founder being involved in every decision. Hiring without systems creates dependency on individual people rather than scalable processes. It creates inconsistency in the customer experience, and it creates a situation where the founder becomes a manager of chaos rather than a builder of a business. The most scalable businesses, the ones that grow beyond their founder's direct involvement, are built on documented processes, clear standards, and repeatable systems that any competent person can follow. Build the system first, then hire someone to run it. The fifth tip is to protect your time with the same intensity you protect your money. Every entrepreneur has the same 24 hours. The ones who build extraordinary businesses are not the ones who work the most hours. They are the ones who are most deliberate about which hours go toward which activities. Specifically, they protect the hours that generate the highest return. Customer acquisition, product development, strategic partnerships, and revenue-generating conversations from the endless stream of low-value activities that feel productive but do not move the business forward. Learning to say no, to meetings that could be emails, to opportunities that sound exciting but distract from the core focus, to tasks that could be delegated or eliminated, is one of the highest leverage skills in entrepreneurship. The business that deserves the founder's direct attention is the highest priority client, the highest priority product, and the highest priority relationship. Everything else is a candidate for elimination, automation, or delegation. The sixth tip is to treat failure as data, not identity. Every successful entrepreneur has a long list of things that did not work, products that flopped, marketing campaigns that produced nothing, hires that were wrong, strategies that made sense on paper and fell apart in execution. The difference between the entrepreneurs who build something lasting and the ones who quit after the first major setback is not the absence of failure, it is the relationship with it. Failure that is treated as information, as a specific signal about what the market wanted, what the customer needed, or what the execution got wrong, produces better decisions in the next attempt. Failure that is treated as evidence of personal inadequacy produces paralysis, self-doubt, and the kind of risk aversion that makes building anything genuinely ambitious impossible. Every failed product launch answers a question. Every lost client teaches something about positioning, fit, or delivery. Every strategy that underperformed reveals a gap in the understanding of the market. The entrepreneur who extracts the lesson and applies it immediately is not losing. They are paying tuition in the most valuable school available, the market itself. So there are the 6 tips that actually separate successful entrepreneurs from the ones who do not make it. Solve a real problem for a specific person before building anything. Generate revenue as fast as possible, even before the product is perfect. Manage cash flow obsessively because it is the oxygen of every business. Build systems before hiring people so the business scales beyond the founder. Protect time with the same discipline applied to money. And treat every failure as data rather than identity. None of these are complicated. All of them require the kind of consistent, unglamorous execution that most people underestimate until they see what it produces over 2, 5, and 10 years. Build the right habits. The business follows. If this video gave you something worth applying this week, please hit that like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. And if you are not subscribed yet, click that button right now so you never miss what is coming next. See you in the next one.